Okay, good afternoon. I'm at Bedford Trades Council's May Day event, and I'm with someone from the Band and Theatre production who's just been singing some songs about austerity and the government's attacks on education, and we're going to talk a little bit about Kill the Artist, Kill the Protest. So tell us who you are and what your music is about.
Okay, I'm Dave Rogers and I work with Band and Theatre, and we've been going, it's our 40th year now. We basically work with trade unions and people who are in struggle. We tell their stories. A really important part of what we do is we use their actual words, so we interview people and then we integrate that video recorded material into the show, either around songs or around theatre or around animation, some of the shows we do. So yeah, that's what we do. Yeah,
I mean, I sat and watched your videos today and listened to your music, and found it one thing about music and that kind of visual audio art is that it transcends like cultures. But you know, if you go onto YouTube and you look at the highest hits videos, generally they're music videos and they tell a story, and when you have that visual impact as well,
yeah.
That's why MTV took off in the 80s. But yeah, what we're finding more and more in the mainstream media and the mainstream music world is that genuine protest music, or you know, something that challenges the establishment, doesn't really exist anymore. It's been driven underground. Why do you think that is?
I think that the grip of the music industry is really strong. So I think you're in a situation where what is deemed to be commercial, what is deemed to be worthy of being allowed to appear on the media in any shape or form is getting narrower and narrower and narrower. So I'm always meeting kind of other musicians and performers who do political stuff, but you would never know about it. But it's not a lot different from the way the news is told in this country. I mean, we have the BBC, which only tells one story about austerity and cuts. There's a whole other argument that says we don't need any of this stuff. We shouldn't be, instead of cutting stuff, we should be investing in public services, like we did after the Second World War when the country was bankrupt. And the deficit was like 20 times higher than it is today. They nationalised the mines and they nationalised the railways, they took over the Bank of England. We could be doing that now. Instead, everything's under attack, and the arts is one element of that. I mean, one time you used to be able to get, who were involved in the left cultural scene, managed to get working class culture funded. There was, for a short period of time, you could get money. You try getting that now, you know, it just goes to kind of the Royal Opera House and the elite organisations. And anything that's at all sniffs of being alternative or critical, they don't want to know about it. So we have a system that closes in voices, and it's not just cultural voices, it's political voices as well.
I mean,
how much publicity is your dispute getting at the moment? Is that on the front page of every newspaper? It ought to be on the front page of every newspaper.
Well, in terms of, or just anecdotal about the firefighter strikes at the weekend, I know somebody went to 2 newspapers who didn't know, local newspapers didn't know that they were on strike. Added to that, the local radio station hadn't really been in touch about it, and it was only because that individual chased them up and said, "Hey, we're on strike. Do you want to hear a story?" And actually created the environment. They created the situation that made them, force them to report it.
How many people know there are health services being massively privatised left, right and centre? People don't know about it. It's not in the news. BBC doesn't report it.
No, and that's why I think it's we're living in dangerous times in terms of, I mean, we used to have good, strong protest music, and just over the last 20 years or so, or maybe a bit longer, it's just kind of been really watered down and washed away.
Yeah.
I think the thing that really signified that to me was a few years ago when, to combat the X Factor having a Christmas #1 again, there was that big campaign to get Rage Against the Machine, and it's, I thought to myself, well, why we have to go back to a song that came out 10 years before?
Yeah,
they should have. Why was there nothing at the time that we could have?
There probably was, I mean, there's people like God, I'm terrible with my memory is shit, but Captain Scar, you know, did that thing about Clegg. There's quite a lot of that sort of stuff knocking around. It doesn't get any profile, you know, that's the problem. And the thing is, if you go to other countries, and I've had a long connection with Latin America, a bit of Venezuela, Nicaragua, places like that, and culture there is central. You know, you don't have a rally without having a musician up there singing songs about it. I mean, everybody knows the songs and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And part of the problem here is, because the political level is quite low at the moment, the culture's quite low. So when things begin to hot up, then you get a more vibrant political culture around it. You know, like in the 60s there was a lot of going on politically, and you got a big revival of political music at that point in time, you know. And I think there was a lot in the 80s when the miners' strike was going on. There was a lot of political music, political theatre. So it's partly about the times as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time today, and it was really interesting. I mean, are you on Twitter?
We're on Facebook, we're on the website, you know. I've never got time to do Twitter, so I know.
Okay, well, I'll check those links out, and I'll attach them to the video, and I'll send them out there and try and drive people your way.
Okay.
But thank you for your time.